Thanks for checking out this week's FinPrep Trading and Investment video newsletter. So basically this week we had a no hike spike on Wednesday here, coming off the news from the Federal Reserve meeting or lack thereof. We did post above the 50-day moving average briefly, but only to basically lose that post breakout to new all-time highs, tight trading range that we had witnessed for nearly 2 months. Lost it slightly, not to say that we can't recapture it next week, but direction obviously is just remains range bound and kind of a little bit up and down. But more or less gravitating towards new all-time highs, with any upside move targeting at least 220, 222 in the near term, and on the downside, although it would be hard to see a catalyst looking forward, but a possible 210 retest. Base case more likely would favor the upside, but not really committing any new positions on that basis yet. So also taking a look at currencies, interesting really. So we had Jackson Hole in only 2 days of follow through to the upside, and then this bit we had Fed news or lack thereof and only 1 day follow through. So currency basically remains range bound with regard to the dollar. Just taking a quick look at some of the primary currencies within that UUP. The yen, of course, is drifting upwards within its price channel, and actually on a pretty decent move. I believe it was the Wednesday as well, where we had news out of the BOJ. Make sense of it if you like. We're just more interested in what the results are. The euro basically is just chopping around as well, and MA is really kind of meaningless in this sideways consolidation here. And the pound now is at an inflection point where basically bottom of the trading range, so what could be considered a bear flag, or it's just a consolidation or a continuation pattern of that 12% devaluation off of the Brexit referendum news. So this 126 is a pretty key zone because of the bipolarity of outcomes. Either we can have a pretty strong bounce off the 126 as has happened here, or a break of 126 could lead to considerable essentially change of direction, where you had a big drop, you move sideways, market decides which direction it's going to go, and then it goes there. So not taking a view either way, but we'll keep an eye, no doubt, on the pound. Not interested in trading ranges per se at this time. So, but looking at the currencies as it has its impact on precious metals, of course. So within gold, what we've had over the past few months basically now is a series of declining tops, so slightly lower highs, as you can see, is indicated basically by the down slope of this trend line, with a few whipsaws down below 125 only to be reversed. So the question here is if we can drift back down to 125, next target would be approximately 124 and then 122 and a half, or sorry, 121 and a half ish. In through the declining or inclining price channel here on GLD. So looking at that for the week ahead, and a break to the upside would basically put you in around the year-to-date high of approximately 130.150, which is an important level, because a break there, not to say that that would happen necessarily anytime soon, but to really kind of call this thing a fully fledged, that the bear market has reversed, this would be kind of the final straw, at least for us, is off the all-time high on GLD, taking it in through the peak leading up to QE2. We have that meeting right with the 250-week declining moving average. So break above that level, a sustained, not just whipsaw, but a sustained break above that level. It would be hard to make the case that gold isn't in a bull market at that stage. That's kind of the final straw. So not looking for that this week necessarily. If anything, kind of eyeballing another return to the 125, but it remains to be determined. And so we'll take a look and respond accordingly should that choose to be an interesting trade. Similarly to that, we have USO as a primary commodity, and basically a nice rip off the bottom there, and basically a declining price channel. So potential move down to 975 in the offing, and we'll watch that as well. So that's what's going on, what we're looking at this week, guys. So we'll just keep our eye on the SPY and update you next week. All right, take care.